Long silence. The sound of wind through stone corridors. The 15th of March, 44 before Christ. Rome woke that morning like any other. Gray skies, cold air, the smell of stone and incense. Nothing suggested that before the sun set, the world would never be the same
Keep
again.
your voice down. The guards are listening.
Inside the theater of Pompey,
When does Caesar
the
arrive?
Senate waited. Robes, rings, whispers. Men of power with daggers hidden beneath their togas. They had planned for months, calculated every detail, and they believed they were about to save Rome. Then Julius Caesar walked in. 23 daggers. That is all it took. 23, and the most powerful man in the world fell. The conspirators stood over him. Marcus Brutus, Gaius Cassius, men who had called Caesar friend. They dipped their hands in his blood and stepped out into the streets of Rome. They expected the crowd to erupt. They expected to be called heroes, liberators. Instead, silence. A silence so heavy, it pressed down on the city like a stone. Doors slammed shut. Streets emptied. Rome held its breath. This was not approval. It was the calm before something terrible. The senators had made a mistake, a fatal one. They had killed the man, but they could not kill what the man had built. His legions, his people, his ghost. And now, two men rose from the wreckage. Mark Antony, Caesar's most trusted general. Octavian, his young heir, cold as winter marble. Together, they would not mourn Caesar. They would avenge him. Lists appeared on the walls of Rome. Names. If your name was on the list, you were already dead. You just didn't know it yet. Your property taken. Your life forfeit. Your head worth gold to any man who brought it in. Hundreds of senators, thousands of knights. Rome ran red. And this was only the beginning. The hunt began at the edges. Gaius Trebonius, the man who had kept Antony distracted outside the Senate on that morning, believed himself safe. Governor of a province, far from Rome, untouchable. No one was untouchable. He was taken in the city of Smyrna, tortured for days, then executed. His severed head kicked through the streets, like a warning carved in flesh and bone. But perhaps the most haunting fate belonged to a man history has nearly forgotten. Decimus Brutus. Not the famous Brutus, but in many ways, the more dangerous one. He was Caesar's closest friend. On the very morning of the assassination, it was Decimus who walked into Caesar's home, who smiled at him, who told him his friends were waiting, who led him to his death. The betrayal did not go unanswered. His legions abandoned him. His allies vanished. His name became a curse. He fled, disguised as a beggar, hunted like an animal. And in the end, a chieftain he once trusted sold his head to Rome. But the true reckoning, the moment all of history had been building toward, came in October, 42 BC, the plains of Philippi, Macedonia. The largest Roman armies ever assembled faced each other across a dusty plain. On one side, Antony and Octavian, 19 legions, the fury of Rome. On the other, Brutus and Cassius, the last defenders of the Republic. This was not merely a battle. This was a question. What would Rome be? A republic or an empire? In the nights before the final battle, it is said Brutus could not sleep. A presence entered his tent, silent, towering, cold. He looked up and saw Caesar. Long pause. The ghost said nothing at first, only stared, then spoke. "We will meet again at Philippi," and vanished. Brutus did not tremble. He simply blew out his lamp and waited for dawn. The first battle was chaos. Dust, blood, screaming metal. Brutus pushed forward and shattered Octavian's camp. But on the other side of the field, Cassius was drowning. Antony's veterans tore through his lines like fire through parchment. Retreating to high ground, Cassius tried to see through the dust. Horsemen were approaching, his vision failing, his mind breaking. They were Brutus's messengers, bearing news of victory. But Cassius did not know that. In that moment of blind despair, he made his final decision. He called his servant close and ordered him to use the dagger. The same dagger that had ended Caesar. When Brutus arrived, there was no comrade waiting for him, only a body. Through tears, through the grief of a man watching everything crumble, he looked at the face of his oldest ally and called him the last of the Romans. He was right. 3 weeks passed. The armies circled each other like wounded animals. Supplies ran low. Morale rotted. Fear spread like fever. On the 23rd of October, the final battle began. This time, there was no miracle. Antony's men broke through like a tide. The battlefield became a graveyard. Brutus fled to a rocky hill, a handful of loyal men beside him, the darkness closing in. He knew what came next. Chains, humiliation, a cage in Rome. He chose differently. As the last light faded, he spoke, quietly, almost to himself, the words of a dying man who had believed in something. "Virtue, I followed you as though you were real. Perhaps you were only ever a word." Then he asked his friend to hold the sword, and fell upon it. Antony found him, and despite everything, the years of war, the death, the ruin, he removed his own cloak and covered Brutus, gave him a soldier's burial. Octavian showed no such mercy. He took the head, meant to send it to Rome as a trophy. But the sea intervened. A shipwreck swallowed it, as if even the gods refused to let Caesar's revenge be complete. One by one, the conspirators fell. Some were betrayed, some were murdered. Some chose death before capture. But one man kept running, Cassius of Parma. For 14 years he ran, changing names, switching sides, always moving, always watching the door. Rome is patient. By 31 BC, Octavian had become Augustus, master of the known world. He sent one man to Athens with one order. Cassius of Parma was sitting at his writing desk when death entered the room. And just like that, the last candle went out. The men who killed Caesar believed they were saving Rome. They believed that one death could restore a dying republic. But they were wrong. They did not save Rome. They ended it. The republic they killed Caesar to protect died with him. What rose from the blood of the Senate floor was something far older, far darker, far more powerful. An empire, one that would rule the world for centuries. Suetonius, the ancient historian, recorded a truth that still sends a chill down the spine. Not one of the assassins outlived Caesar by more than 3 years. Not one died a natural death. Every blade that pierced him found its way back. In the end, it was not Caesar who fell on the Ides of March. It was Rome, and from its ruins, something immortal was born. Fade.